video I'm doing a book review, and it's a book review on this book called The Fear Bubble by Ant Middleton, and it's absolutely awesome, this book. I do love adventure books, I've talked about this before, but it's about adventure and personal development, which is what I love. So if this resonates with you, please carry on and watch this video. Welcome to my channel. My name's Lorraine and I help people live with passion, purpose and positivity. Let's dive right into this video. And it's a book review on this book here called The Fear Bubble by Ant Middleton. So first of all, I'll go over who Ant Middleton is and what he does, and then I'm going to go into the main takeaway I got from the book, and then other things that I've learnt from the book as well. It was an excellent book actually, and I really enjoyed it. So Ant Middleton was in the SAS, well he's in the SBS, but it's like the SAS but on boats, which is special forces in the army, which means that they really get into very dangerous situations in war zones and all things like this. And he was seeing some traumatic things, and men that come out of these war zones are often traumatised and they end up alcoholics or homeless. But he says, no, that's not going to be me. I'm going to learn to manage my fear. But it was a gradual process of learning how to manage his fear. And he analysed how he felt in fearful situations. Like if he went to Afghanistan, and I think he's been to Ireland as well and other places where there's wars, and in between the tours he would feel fear the whole time he wasn't in the war. And he started to assess, why am I feeling fear now when I'm not in that situation, that fearful situation? So the next time he went on a tour, he started breaking the fear down into bite-sized chunks. So say he give an example, and one of the examples was that he would be in amber, looking on to this soldier who was guarding terrorists, and his task was to kill this soldier. So he's looking at the soldier and he was assessing his fear. And in that moment, even in that moment, he wasn't in the full fear state. Because fear is when you get the adrenaline rush and you're in survival mode and all your blood and everything rushes to the extremities. And when you're in that state, it's very draining to be in that state all the time. So he's assessing when to be fearful, because that adrenaline does benefit you, and it would benefit him in that situation because he'd be on high alert, his senses would all be enhanced, and you know, he's got to kill this man, he could get killed himself, so that was the fear. So he did the deed and killed this man, and he felt the adrenaline rush, and the adrenaline rush and that fear only lasted for minutes. So he's able to break this fear down into bite-sized chunks, and now he's a very happy, positive man. And I found that very good, and I think it's a good way of dealing with it. You know, because they say that a lot of people are 70% of the time in fear mode. And that is a very draining state to be in, isn't it? Because often the things that you fear are not going to happen. So why be in that state where it's draining you? Your body can't function right when you're in that fear mode because you're in a state of alert. The adrenaline's going and it's prolonged, and you actually get used to being in that state of adrenaline and fear. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to do this sort of like be in fear when it's necessary, when I need to be in fear, and then step out of the fear when I don't need to. And it gives lots of other examples. But another thing, so the book is actually about his climb up to Everest, and that was very good. But what annoyed me a little bit in the book was it swapped from chapter, like the adventure of climbing up Everest, to get the fear. He would jump chapters, but then after I thought about it, I thought, well, he's sort of given an example after he spoke about the fear going up to Everest. And the Everest story is absolutely amazing. He was one of the first up there in 2018, never been higher than 6,000 feet in his life. And when he got to the top in a storm. He went in a storm. He's always wanting to challenge himself, and oh my God, he nearly died because he wasn't prepared either. In his last rotation before climbing Everest, he went on a 4-day bender in Namche Bazaar, drinking. Nobody knew that when they took him up there. But he was totally unprepared, but he's got this positive mindset, and obviously when he was in the SAS, this held him in good stead to get to the top. But when they got to Hillary Step, so they're at the top, and the most treacherous part is coming down from Everest. It's very difficult to come down. So they're at Hillary Step, which is a sheer 30 feet drop. And this man had frozen, and he was hanging upside down in a rope, and he was stuck on in the death zone for 2.5 hours. And he ran out of oxygen, and the Sherpa that had the oxygen had gone on before, but his Sherpa Dawa, he found another oxygen for him from another Sherpa, so he was okay. But 2.5 hours in the death zone. And then he come down, and there was 90 miles an hour winds, and everyone thought he was dead. His photographer, Ed, had gone on ahead, and he thought he was dead. And even people in base camp thought, oh my God, anybody up there would not survive, because there's these gales and winds, and you can't even begin to imagine what it was like. But knowing Ant Middleton, he didn't die, obviously, and he come down, but he did think he was going to die. He said, I thought I was going to leave my wife and children without a husband and father, and it was really, really good, that part of it. But that is him. He likes a challenge, and this towards the end of the book is another thing he likes to say, is to challenge yourself, get out of that comfort zone, and that fear and comfort zone, and like small things and big things, which I thought was really good in the way he explains about, challenge yourself to do something in a certain time. And I took that challenge on board yesterday. I'm decorating a room in my house, and it has taken ages actually. Only because I want to get it done right, and I've got my son helping me, and I just give him a little bit every day so he doesn't get too fed up. But I had quite a lot to do yesterday. I had to do all the glossing. I thought, right, Lorraine, you're going to do that in 2 hours. Like, it was 3 o'clock. You're going to do that in 2 hours. I actually did it in 1.5 hours. So them little challenges, challenge yourself. It's what makes life exciting. The big challenges and the small challenges. So I'm a bit like Ant to that extent. I like to challenge myself. I like to go on adventures on my own, hiking. That is myself getting out of the comfort zone. It makes me excited but scared. And that's what we're talking about here. Get out of your comfort zone, because that's where the magic lies, isn't it? So I really loved this book, and I really enjoyed it. It's so good, and I thought I was going to get a bit bored with it sort of swapping back and forth, but I didn't in the end. And I did learn quite a lot. And if I've learned something from a book, to me that's good. I'm not into reading like fictional stories and this sort of thing. I like to read a book that's going to teach me something. And I'm actually reading a book on my Kindle at the moment. It's called Marrow Up, and it's talking about this billionaire in Japan. I will do a book review on that. It seems really good and exciting. And he's very enlightened. And it's quite, I've just started reading it. It's quite good. So I'll do a book review on that. So yes, I highly recommend this book, The Fear Bubble by Ant Middleton. And, I hope you read it and get something out of it. If you enjoyed this video, please press the like button, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification, because I do regular videos now. And also in the links in the description, I'll put my new course, Strive for High Vibe, and also I'll also put my book Higher and Higher, which is when I went to every space camp. I'll put that in the link below as well. And also I'll put 2 freebies in. That's a hypnosis, health and wellbeing hypnosis, and a law of attraction book that helps to explain the law of attraction in simple terms. I'll put them in the links below as well. Hope you have a wonderful day, everybody. Blessings, much love, and namaste.